The nurse everyone trusted until they checked the baby tag. We begin. Hit that subscribe button, because after this story, you'll never look at a hospital the same way again. St. Mercy Hospital wasn't the kind of place where bad things happened. It stood in the middle of a quiet town in Illinois, surrounded by trees that whisper in the wind and parking lots that empty by sunset. Inside, the floor smelled of bleach and lavender air freshener, and the nurses, always smiling, moved like angels in white. But among them was one who shone a little brighter, Nurse Clara Holt. Everyone trusted her. She remembered every patient's name, comforted crying mothers, and worked late shifts without complaint. Parents called her the gentle one, and doctors said she had the kind of empathy you couldn't teach. When Emily and Mark Lawson welcomed their newborn daughter, Grace, Clara was there, tucking the blanket around the baby and whispering, "She's perfect." Emily felt safe. After all, this nurse had been there for a decade. Everyone knew her. That night, the storm outside grew violent. Lightning danced against the hospital windows. The backup generator flickered as the power cut briefly. Alarms blipped and lights went dark for 30 seconds. When they came back on, everything seemed fine, except Clara was gone. Hours later, Emily woke up and found the bassinet empty. Grace, her baby, was missing. The ward erupted in chaos. Security guards sealed the exits. Police were called before dawn. Surveillance footage showed Nurse Clara walking calmly through the hallway, cradling the baby in her arms. She smiled at the camera, swiped her ID card, and disappeared to the staff exit. No one saw her again. Detectives soon learned something terrifying. No one named Clara Holt had ever been employed at St. Mercy Hospital. The ID badge she'd used didn't exist in the system. Her file was blank. Her signature on the shift log was a forgery. Every photo she'd appeared in, the staff group pictures, the security stills, looked eerily off, like her face had been blended into the image, slightly blurred around the edges. As investigators dug deeper, one question echoed to the halls of St. Mercy. If Clara wasn't a nurse, then who was she? And more chillingly, where was baby Grace now? By morning, the story was everywhere. "Newborn stolen by fake nurse," screamed the headlines. The whole town froze in shock. Everyone had seen Nurse Clara. Some swore she'd helped deliver their own children. Others remembered her calm smile and neat handwriting on medical charts. But when detectives pulled hospital records from the past 10 years, her name didn't appear once. Detective Laura Myers led the case, and from the moment she stepped into maternity ward, she could feel something was wrong. The hallway lights hummed faintly, the scent of disinfectant sharp in the air. "Hospitals are supposed to heal," she muttered, "not hide ghosts." Security footage from the night of the abduction revealed something odd. At 2:14 a.m., Clara exited through the staff corridor, her ID light blinking green. But seconds before that, at 2:13 a.m., the same ID card had been used on the other side of the building. Two simultaneous swipes, miles apart inside the system. Someone had cloned the badge, or worse, programmed it to override access logs. A witness, a janitor named Devin, remembered seeing Clara in the elevator earlier that night. "She was humming," he said, eyes wide. That same lullaby they play in the nursery, only slower, off-key, like she was remembering something painful. Detectives traced her uniform supplier, finding it ordered under a false hospital account. Billing routed through an address that led to an abandoned farmhouse 20 miles out of town. Inside, the smell of bleach hit them before the door even opened. They found baby bottles, stacks of outdated patient bracelets, and dozens of ID cards, all with different names but the same face, Clara's. In the dim light, Detective Myers picked up a photo from the dusty mantle. It showed Clara, or someone who looked exactly like her, holding a newborn baby. The date stamped on the back was 1996. "That's impossible," said her partner, staring at the image. "That's almost 30 years ago." Myers felt a chill crawl up her spine. Clara's appearance hadn't changed in any of the surveillance photos. Not one wrinkle, not one sign of aging. And then, beneath the photo, she noticed a name scratched into the wood with something sharp. Grace. The same name as the missing baby. The realization hit her like a thunderclap. Whatever Clara Holt was, whoever she was, this wasn't her first child. This was her pattern. And someone, somewhere, was still waiting for her to come back. 3 days later, Detective Laura Myers stood outside a rundown house at the edge of a small Illinois town. Rain fell in thin needles, soaking through her coat as the radio crackled with the dispatcher's words. Anonymous tip, baby's cry heard from the old Rivers Place. Inside, the air was thick with dust and old wallpaper glue. A faint melody echoed through the hallway, the same lullaby Clara had been humming in the elevator. It drifted from the back room, sweet and hollow, like a broken music box winding down. Myers pushed open the door. The light from her flashlight caught dozens of baby items. Tiny shoes, hospital bracelets, pink blankets folded with care. In the corner, an antique crib rocked gently as if touched by wind, but the windows were closed. Inside the crib lay a baby, Grace, breathing softly, unharmed. But the real horror was on the wall. Hundreds of photographs, yellowed with time, each showing Clara with a different child. Dates stretched back to the 1980s. Each photo was marked with the same name written in neat cursive, My Grace. Suddenly, footsteps creaked upstairs. Myers raised her gun. Clara, it's over, she shouted. A calm voice answered from above. You think you can take her from me again? When a detective climbed the stairs, she found a woman standing in front of a cracked mirror, wearing the same nurse's uniform from the footage. Clara's eyes looked sunken yet oddly ageless. They took my baby, she whispered. Years ago, in this very hospital. Every grace they take from me, I take back. Myers froze. You mean... Clara smiled faintly, tears glinting in her eyes. You wouldn't understand. They switched her at birth. I just fixed what they broke. The detective stepped forward, but Clara backed toward the open window. She belongs with me. Lightning flashed, and in that split second, Clara was gone. The rain-slicked pavement below was empty. Only her nurse's badge lay on the floor, bent and glimmering in the dim light. When they checked the baby's hospital tag later that night, something sent chills through the entire task force. The tag didn't just say Grace Lawson. It also listed another mother's name, Clara Holt. No fingerprints, no DNA match, no trace of her ever existing. Just a trail of babies, all named Grace, all stolen under storms. And every few years, another hospital would call with the same story. A trusted nurse, a missing newborn, and a baby tag that didn't belong. The legend of Nurse Clara Holt had begun again,